Gomez, and today we will discuss about concise environmental. What is concise environmental? Let's be find out. Get into the topic.
Concise environmental engineering.
It is divided into two types, natural environment and built environment. The natural environment encompasses all living and non-living things occurring natural in the area. The built environment refers to the human-made surrounding that provide the settings for human activity, e.g. buildings, parks, cities, supporting infrastructure such as transport, water supply, and energy supply. There are four spheres on the earth that are of interest to environmental engineering, which are referred to as the lithosphere, the rigid outermost shell of the earth, the hydrosphere, water on, under, and over the surface of the earth, the atmosphere, a layer of the gases surrounding the earth, and the biosphere, some of living organisms on the earth. The natural environment and built environment can also affect human health. The World Health Organization defines environmental health as those aspects of the human health and disease that are determined by factors in the environment. Environmental engineering is the application of science and engineering principles to protect and utilize natural resources, control environmental pollution, improve environmental quality to enable healthy ecosystem and comfortable habitation of humans. An ecosystem is a community of living or biotic organisms like plants, animals, and microbes, in conjunction with the non-living components or abiotic of their environment like water and mineral soil, interacting as a system. Ecosystems are a biological community and its physical environment and come in various sizes from limit space to the entire planet. There are 5 trophic levels. Decompressors are often left of food webs and trophic levels, but if included, they mark the end of food chain. Level 1. Plants and algae are primary producers. Level 2. Herbivores are primary consumers. Level 3. Carnivores are secondary consumers if they eat herbivores. Level 4. Carnivores are tertiary consumers if they eat other carnivores. Level 5. Apex predators are at the top of the food chain if they have no predators. Aerobic respiration converts organic carbon into carbon dioxide and anaerobic respiration converts it into methane. Organic carbon is also released into the atmosphere via burning, while organic matter in animals generally dies quickly, releasing much of its carbon into the atmosphere through respiration. Carbon stored as dead plant matter can stay in the biosphere for as much as a decade or more. Different plant types of plant matter decay at different rates. For example, woody substances retain their carbon longer than soft, leafy material. Active carbon in soils can stay sequestered for up to 1,000 years, while inert carbon in soil can stay sequestered for more than a millennium. Nitrogen is required to biosynthesize basic building blocks of plants, animals, and other life forms, e.g., nucleotides for DNA and RNA and amino acids for proteins. Important processes in the nitrogen cycles include fixation, ammonification, nitrification, and denitrification. Phosphorus is an essential nutrient for plants and animals in the form of action and is a limiting nutrient for aquatic organisms. The most oxidized form of sulfur is sulfate, which is the most readily assimilated form by plants to be reduced into organic sulfur. Sulfur is a key component in proteins, amino acids, and B vitamins of plants. Eutrophication is the ecosystem response to excess nutrients that stimulate excessive plant growth. The nutrients are mainly nitrates and phosphates, which are human-caused or natural. Some algal blooms are toxic to plants and animals and interfere with drinking water treatment. Two types of nutritional source. First, point source. They are easily set. and the second is non-point source, which are not easily set. Specifically, nitrogen moves through A. Storm channel, B. sewage pipe, C. Form of drainage flow, and the last is nitrogen is released into the air due to the evaporation of ammonia and the production of nitrous oxide. Biodiversity is the level of variation in life form at the level of biological system, e.g. molecular, organisms, population, species, and ecosystem, and is used to measure ecosystem health. Holocene extinction caused by human impact on the environment through the acronym HIPPO. Habitat destruction, invasive species, pollution, human overpopulation, and overharvesting. Two main factors are considered when measuring biological diversity. First, well is a measure of the number of different types of organisms in a particular area. The more species present in the sample, the richer the sample. And the second is evenness is a measure of the relative abundance of various species that make up an area well. Causes of biodiversity are not evenly distributed. First is temperature variation, rainfall, height, soil, geography, and the last is the existence of other species. The benefit that humans derive from healthy biodiversity that support ecosystem survive include: first is air quality, climate, water purification, pollination, and the last is prevention of erosion. Ecosystem services are the benefit to human society from the many resources and process supplied by natural ecosystem. Ecosystem services are divided into four categories. First, supply services is food, water, wood, mineral, pharmaceutical, biochemical, industrial product, and energy. And the second, regulatory service is climate control through carbon sequestration, waste decomposition and detoxification, water and air purification, pest and disease control, erosion prevention. Third, support services is distribution and nutrient cycling, seed dispersal, crop pollination, and primary production. And the last is cultural services, is cultural, intellectual, and spiritual inspiration, recreation, scientific discoveries. Research steps to describe and predict the energy and material flow in the ecosystem involved include identification of ecosystem service providers, species or population that provide specific ecosystem service, and characterization of their functional roles and relationship. The second, determination of aspects of community structure that affect the function of ESP in its landscape. Third, assessment of key environmental or abiotic factors that affect service delivery. Measurement of the ESP spatial and temporal scale and its services in operation. The six main methods for valuing ecosystem services in monetary terms are cost avoided, replacement cost, income factor, travel expense, hedonic pricing, and the last is contingent assessment. Sustainability is the capacity to endure. For human society, sustainable development is the development that meets the needs of the present without compromising the ability of future generations to meet their own needs. It requires the reconciliation of environmental, social equity, and economic demand, the three pillars of sustainability. Sustainability measurement is the metric used as the quantitative basis for the informed management of sustainability. Measurement of sustainability is very diverse and still evolving, including resource use such as life cycle assessment, consumption like the ecological footprint, and quality of environmental governance like the Environmental Performance Index. A life cycle assessment, or LCA, also known as life cycle analysis, is a technique to assess environmental impacts associated with all stages of a product's life from cradle to grave. The ecological footprint is a measure of human demand on the Earth ecosystem. Ecological footprint analysis compares human demand on the nature with the biosphere ability to regenerate resource and provide service. Ecological footprint may be used to argue that many current lifestyles are not sustainable. The population growth is one of the grand challenges of sustainable development since an increasing population of place has additional strains on natural resources. Therefore, population growth could be stabilized by improving quality of life. Urbanization is the physical growth of urban areas as a result of rural migration. Currently, there are more people living in urban areas than in rural areas. Urbanization is the major type of human migration. Water resources are useful or potential useful source of water. Use of water include agricultural, industrial, household, recreational, and environmental activities.
The water footprint is a geographical explicit indicator, not only showing volume of water used on pollution, but also the location. A water footprint consists of three components: blue, green, and gray. The blue water footprint is the volume of fresh water that evaporates from the global blue water resource, surface water, and groundwater, to produce the goods and services consumed by the individual or community. The green water footprint is the volume of water evaporated from the global green water resource, rainwater stored in the soil as soil moisture. The gray water footprint is the volume of polluted water that associated with the production of all goods and services for the individual or community. Electricity is one of the most common energy carriers, being transformed from various primary energy sources such as coal, oil, natural gas, and wine. Green engineering is to design, discover, and implement engineering solutions with an awareness of potential benefits and problems in terms of environment, economy, and society, three pillars of sustainability, throughout the design lifetime. 97% of water on Earth is salt water, and only 3% is fresh water. The remaining unfrozen fresh water is found mainly as groundwater, with only a small fraction present above ground or in the water. The principles of green engineering as outlined by Anatas and Zimmerman include: 1. Inherent rather than circumstantial. 2. Prevention instead of treatment. 3. Design for separation. 4. Maximize efficiency. 5. Output pull versus input push. 6. Conserve complexity. 7. Durability rather than immortality. 8. Meet need, minimize excess. 9. Minimize material diversity. 10. Integrate material and energy flows. 11. Design for commercial afterlife. And 12. Renewability rather than depleting. Climate change concerns, coupled with high oil price, peak oil, and increasing government support, are driving increasing renewable energy legislation, incentive, and commercialization. The built environment requires a tremendous amount of energy, as well as water and other natural resources. Embodied energy is the sum of all the energy required to produce goods or services, considered as if that energy is incorporated or embodied in the product itself. The concept can be useful in determining the effectiveness of energy producing or energy saving device. Environmental resource management should identify the conflicting factors that may rise between meeting the needs and protecting the resource. Environmental resource management involves the management of all components of the biophysical environment, both living biotic and non-living abiotic. Pollution is the interaction of contaminant into the natural environment with adverse change. Pollutants can be either foreign substance or natural occurring contaminants. Pollution control activities include recycling, reusing, reducing, mitigating, preventing, comparison, etc. Sustainable agriculture is an integrated system of plant and animal productive practice that will last over the long term. Many farming practices can cause long-term damage to soil, including excessive tillage, leading to erosion. Soil erosion is one of the world's greatest problems. Improper irrigation without adequate drainage can lead to salinization, Useful measures include 1. Modern irrigation systems such as drip irrigation with high water use efficiency. 2. Improving water conservation and storage measures. 3. Drought-tolerant crop species.
4. Irrigation deficits. And 5. Managing crops to reduce water loss. It's cool, right? And I hope you enjoyed the lesson. And if you want to know about concise environmental engineering, you can check the book of Concise Environmental Engineering made by Prof. Dawi Han. And thank you for your time and have a nice day. Thank you.
Try to latch myself out of your space, far away until the distance passes its light.